Hello, Simon Cowell from American Idol. America's
That wasn't great. Bit high.
Can you not?
Start again, start again.
You're not in your lair now, you're in mine.
Lower voice. One more time. OK, 3, 2, 1.
I'll continue, actually. Before I was so rudely interrupted, I'm just going to continue, because actually I did that perfectly. He's obviously... Actually, let's forget this. He's not one of the most astute judges in America. He's a serial pain in the backside whose only great decision was to hire me on America's Got Talent, and it gives me absolutely no pleasure to have Simon Cowell here, apart from the fact that I know it's going to cause you enormous displeasure.
Likewise.
To be in my studio.
I've been total, utter torture. As we were just waiting, and I'm looking around thinking, this actually was my worst nightmare in the world, that I'm sitting on your show, and then you say things like, as a favour, we'll help you throughout the year. I mean, it's just...
Well, you had created the monster. I mean, without you, I wouldn't really be sitting here.
What was the text message I sent to you when we had the ratings? I think it was the year 1 of America's Got Talent.
No, the key thing for me, I remember, I'll never forget this, was when America's Got Talent, you flew me out here, and no one had ever heard of me, and you took this big pump, which I'm genuinely grateful for. No, they have now, thanks to the large billboards I made sure they put outside your house. And I remember you sent me a text message, and it was just after the show went #1 on NBC, and you said, this message just said, I feel like Dr. Frankenstein.
True. The monster.
Yeah.
No, but I'm seriously, seriously thrilled for you, Piers.
Of course you are.
No, I really am.
Which aspect of me landing...
Actually, the interview's about me. Back to me, come on.
X Factor.
Yes.
Why should we be so excited about this in America? I know why Britain got very excited, but what's the big selling point to you? What makes this different to Idol?
It's, you know, it's difficult to say till you actually make the show. I mean, genuinely, when you make a reality show, for me, as a producer, there's a point where you've got to stand back. And therefore, I shouldn't know what it's going to be like. The audience shouldn't know. You just film it and you hope it's going to be as crazy as possible. What are the key,
if you're an American viewer, what are the key differences between this and Idol? Why is this a different show?
You can be 12. You can be older, no age limit. We've had people 100 years old auditioning on this show, and we audition groups. And then at the end, the judges get to mentor.
But the big change you made in Britain after a few years was to bring in an audience for the audition process, which Idol doesn't have. Is that going to be a key weapon, do you think, in your ratings assault on X Factor America?
Well, you're quite right. It makes it different. I mean, it wasn't that we did it just to make it different from Idol. I was filming the show in Scotland, I think it was 2 years ago, and it was the same process. Desk, 3 judges, horrible room. This contestant came in, and this is literally within 1 hour, and I stopped the show. I said, I actually can't do this anymore. It's just, it's too predictable, it's too sterile. So we all flew back to London. The following day, the producers came in, and I said, I want to shoot this in arenas.
I'm going to play you a little clip from X Factor.
Finish the story.
No, I'm going to come to the end of that story in a moment.
Thanks, Piers.
I want to show you what people are talking about.
I'm going to say yes. First audition I have ever heard.
Simon, you're better than Jesus!
Can we take that last bit out? It's embarrassing. Well, you see what it's like. I mean, look, it's supposed to feel... The idea was that we would recreate what their first concert would look like. So for people who've never auditioned in their lives, they walk out, instead of walking into, like, a hotel room with the 3 of us, you walk out and you've got 3,000 or 4,000 screaming kids there. And it was supposed to make it a bit more exciting and to create that atmosphere. For some people, I mean, it was just a disaster. And then one of the guys you saw in that clip, Daniel Johnson, it shows you what can happen when an audience get behind you, and he turned into a performer. It was sensational.
It was an extraordinary moment, and I don't think you would have got that in a room. So I think the addition of the audience, and also for you, is, in the end, you're the evil Svengali producer as well. And I don't mean for the show, I mean as a music producer.
Yeah.
You get a chance to see what these guys are like when they get a big audience. You can see who are the real performers, right?
Well, look, where they start is where you want them to end up. You want them to be able to do concerts and perform in front of millions of people. And that's what you look for. You look for somebody who can really use the crowd well. And there were times, many, many times, when we said no, where you could feel the audience about to turn on you, and they've changed our minds. It's a completely different atmosphere, but I liked it.
I've known you a long time. I was with you a lot through the process of you deciding whether or not to leave Idol, whether to do X Factor. I know you agonised over that. Talk me through your mindset through that period, because I know you weren't sure what to do with your career. You were offered this, I'm not sure if you even want to say, but I know it was a stupendous sum of money to stay on Idol. A lot of people in your position would have taken the money. Why didn't you? Why did you take this huge gamble?
Because I'd made, you know, a lot of money. It's no secret over the 9 years I was on the show. I mean, I was really well looked after. But my love always was producing. You know, I love producing shows. And so when you're on a show where other people are making decisions, you don't necessarily agree with it. After a while, you start to feel like a passenger. Your energy comes down, the show's energy comes down. And to be fair, I thought they needed to be rid of me, to be honest with you, because I was thinking about doing the show for 2 years.
Did you get bored being what was a highly paid performing monkey in the end?
Yeah. Well, I didn't quite think of it that way.
No, but you know what I mean? You had no control. So you were like a monkey in a zoo. You were the best monkey.
By the way, I don't think we can use that.
Oh, no, we can.
Can we?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you don't have any editorial control.
OK, I'm trying to look after you.
This is awkward now, because that's actually definitely a beer.
Is it?
You're a monkey.
OK, I'm a monkey, fine.
But you know what I mean? Because I know from Britain's Got Talent and X Factor, having worked with you on Britain's Got Talent, you have complete control of that show. America's Got Talent, you're all over it like a rash. You're ringing at 4 in the morning, you're emailing. You have complete control. On Idol, you didn't have that control.
That was the problem. Look, I have always believed that these shows become an extension of your personality. So there were many, many times when I was on Idol where I thought, I just don't want to make this show. There's nothing wrong with the show. It's just that I want to make something different. After a while, I just got so frustrated. And I had a fantastic relationship I still have with Fox. My belief, funny enough, was that once I left, the whole show would reinvent itself. They'd have a new energy. They would become more competitive because we're bringing our show on. So for Fox, it was like win-win.
You've taken a huge punt here on you. I mean, a lot of this, I would say, centres around the Cowl brand. You've taken it out of this huge show and you're putting it all on X Factor. It is a gamble, isn't it?
It has to be a gamble.
Even for a super confident guy like you, has any part of you contemplated the unthinkable?
Yeah, always. Every show I ever make, by the way, you know, we've worked with each other long enough, and I've sat there with you on Britain's Got Talent, where I just feel like jumping off a bridge because I think the whole show's a disaster, it's not going to work, and it's depressing, and then somebody else walks in an hour later, and it's different. But if you don't have that fear that it's going to go wrong, you're going to get complacent, you're going to lose your edge, your sharpness. So I like the team around me to feel like me, which is, it could go horribly wrong.
See, a lot of people ask me, what's he like to work with? You know, and I say, it's funny because a lot of the time you can be very difficult. You're quite a tough taskmaster. You are permanently, I would say, refusing to let anybody rest on their laurels on the show. You keep everyone on their toes. And, you know, you're like all mavericks, I guess, in the sense you change your mind a lot and then you suddenly go with something. And, you know, you are, you know, I hate to use the word genius, if I'm not going to. I'll use another word. I've used it. It's already out there, isn't it?
No, it's logged.
No, but when it comes to the genius, people say, what's his real talent? I say, well, the genius of Simon Cowell is your ability to guess what the public is going to like. Would you accept that?
Well, thank you. No, I think what it is that I know what I like. And I genuinely make those decisions. Every show I've ever, you know, produced, essentially, it's the show I want to watch myself. And, you know, that goes back to the Idol point, was it was a great show and it was doing really, really well. But I wanted to make a slightly different... I would want to watch myself a slightly different type of show. And that's because I was, you know, leaving Idol, going back to shoot X Factor. I was also doing Britain's Got Talent. It was too much, you know?
Do you think... I read an interview with you once where you said that your ability to guess the public mood on something is driven by the fact you live a very average kind of life in terms of taste. Whether it's music, books, television, food, you're kind of an average kind of guy, despite all the money and power and fame.
Yeah, look, I know when something's well made, I know when something's interesting, and I get bored really, really quickly. So when I make these shows, I'm trying to make something which nobody's ever seen before, hopefully, that it's unpredictable. I can see in my head what I want X Factor to look like. But like I said, you can't describe it until you actually see it. But it will be different.
Going to take a short break. When we come back, I want to get your real feelings on American Idol and its judges.
Da, da, da.